I don't know if you guys remember, but forever ago, there was this Baphomet statue in a capitol because some Christians came along and erected a statue or something that was very clearly Christian in origin in the state capitol. And the law says if you let one religion do it, you have to let all the other religions do it too.
A satanic temple has set up a display inside the Iowa State House. It's the holiday season, and even secular government buildings display decorations for holidays that are rooted in religion.
This is, by the way, this is Christmas 2023.
Like Christmas trees and menorahs. For 14 days, the Satanic Temple has erected a display alongside these major religious symbols inside the rotunda of the Iowa State Capitol. Lucian Greaves, co-founder of the Satanic Temple, spoke to KCCI.
We're going to really relish the opportunity to be represented in a public forum. We don't have a church on every street corner.
Though the temple went through the correct administrative channels to present in the rotunda, the display is getting pushback.
So the end result of this is that somebody came along and beheaded the statue, basically, like took a sword or something and just cut it off. Anyway, this whole thing is happening once again. This is Hemant Mehta's article on this subject. Orthodox Christian confesses to vandalizing satanic statue in Concord, New Hampshire. For a couple weeks in December, a Baphomet statue is vandalized outside the New Hampshire Capitol. The Satanic Temple had erected the display in response to a nativity scene, and their version had Baphomet holding an apple and flowers with a plaque of the 7 fundamental tenets at the bottom. Hours after the statue was unveiled, it was ripped apart and damaged, so some local artists got together and fixed it up. Interesting. They called it Unconcord Baphomet, but that didn't last long either. It too was destroyed. The Concord police have since said they may investigate the incident as a hate crime, but as of this writing, no formal charges have been announced. But here's a thought. When someone confesses to the crime, maybe start looking at him. Last week, a Christian zealot named Joshua Cummings announced that he damaged the statue at least once and that the police had already arrested him. That's interesting. Okay, check out his post on Facebook. This is Hemant Mehta. He said he wasn't charged with any crimes yet, but he acted in the name of his faith, which is an offshoot of the Russian Orthodox Church. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, this is his post about it on Facebook. Going public. I live in Concord, New Hampshire. It was I who destroyed the Satan statue in front of the State House. Other people have destroyed it on several occasions. It has basically become open season on the stupid thing at this point, but I have lost count, but I did at least 5 times bash it on the head with my medieval mace in the middle of the night, and I was finally apprehended by police for it a few nights ago. Your medieval mace? Why do you even have one of those? That's like a deadly weapon, isn't it? Those things are like really dangerous. All right, whatever. We live in America. Every blade of grass has a gun behind it. I wasn't arrested, only asked some basic questions and read my Miranda rights. So he was arrested then. If you read your rights, then you're arrested, I believe. And I don't think charges will be pressed, and if they are, I'm sure I can cover the lawfare with some kind of crowdfunding. Oh my God. It'd probably quickly go viral the same way the news articles have. This is a problem right here. This dude believes that he's impervious to the law not because he's in the right, not because he's following the law, but because he can sidestep it by getting people to support him financially. What I said to the cops is the same thing I'd say before the press, that the presence of the statue hurts everyone in the city and even the whole state. How? I don't understand. How does it hurt anybody at all? The statue hurts everyone in the city and even the whole state, that the spiritual principality is a higher order reality than the legal municipality. The cops were surprised by my answers and didn't really know how to respond. Right. So he was read his Miranda rights and he was interrogated, and all of that stuff can be held against him in a court of law. It can and will. Genius. That's real smart. Good job, bud. You really stuck it to the cops. Online, some Protestants and Catholics in the comment section to the widespread news articles have even defended the statue, saying that the First Amendment protects it being in front of the state house. I maintain my stance that we ought to have anti-blasphemy laws and that it is unchristian to not destroy idolatrous statues, a fact witnessed by the countless saints who did not hesitate to topple monuments to falsehood. You're in favor of blasphemy laws. Okay, then you're just not in favor of free speech in that case. You're just not in favor of the First Amendment. You want to modify or abolish parts of the Constitution that you don't like, is what I'm hearing. I know the Satanic Temple wants to catch me on a hate crime charge. Nobody wants to catch you on anything, bro. We wanted to put a statue up, okay? I'm not even the Satanic Temple, but you get what I'm saying here. They want to put up a statue to make a point that everybody has freedom of religion here, and the government can't support one over another. That's the point. And he thinks that somebody is coming for him to charge him with a hate crime? What is wrong with you? Really? They want to catch him on a hate crime charge. On the night I was apprehended, the officer, after spending a few minutes at his vehicle, came up to me and said, "So you did this because you hate the Satanic Temple?" Paraphrasing, I responded, "I don't hate anyone. The Satanic Temple are a bunch of idiots, but I pray they repent. I hate Satan." Okay, just don't even know what to do with that. Again, I maintain that Satan is not who the Satanic Temple says he is. He is who he is. He has no humility and no love, and hates everyone seeking their destruction. The 7 tenets of Satanism, which the temple regularly cites as the reason for making their cause attractive, have nothing to do with the actual agenda of Satan. Okay, I think the people that say I follow Satan as like a literary character, I follow the things that he stood for in the Bible, I think they are the ones that'll tell you what Satan stood for, okay? They happen to know it a lot better than most Christians. For example, you know that Satan never told a lie in the Bible? God told lots of lies, but not Satan. Kind of interesting. The 7 tenets of Satanism, which the temple regularly cites as the reason for making their cause attractive, have nothing to do with the actual agenda of Satan. God forbid the members of the Satanic Temple die in their delusion and realize their eternal disappointment. Satan doesn't like you as much as you liked him. I don't think anything will come of this legally, but if anything does, I'll be happy to state my case, and I pray it can even provide a confession for orthodoxy, which has the fullness of theology to explain why it is perfectly Christian to destroy an idol in front of the very state house. Yeah, I feel like he's kind of coming to the conclusion that a lot of legislators don't like to admit. The First Amendment contradicts the First Commandment. The First Commandment is, "You shall have no other gods before me." And the First Amendment says, you can worship any god you want, or no god. He has realized there's a conflict there and doesn't like it, and has apparently sided against the U.S. Constitution. What does it say about us as a people if we allow such a filthy and hideous image to appear before God in our most basic societal representation? It says we're a free society who can make decisions for ourselves. And what I do with my life is none of your goddamn business. That's what it says. But okay. It was impossible that I would not do everything in my power to destroy that horrific statue standing in the very city in which I live, this city that I so dearly love. Honestly, this guy needs help. No joke. He needs help. He's very obviously mentally ill. Or maybe it's, here's one of the big problems with this. I don't actually know if he's mentally ill. This degree of radicalism is indistinguishable from mental illness. There are tons of people who are not mentally ill, but just stuck in this mindset, out of their gourds on Jesus. Like there's a line, right? Somewhere. Where is the line? I regard it as one of the greatest things I've ever done. Dust that it is. My conscience is clear and I should be charged. My conscience is clear, and should I be charged unfairly, then the crisis of conscience shall move laterally toward my interlocutors. What? I may stand trial tomorrow, but we will all stand trial before the only righteous judge. Okay, great. Then let me do that. I'll do it on my own terms. I don't need your help. Thank you. Please pray for me. I'm not sure what is about to happen, but I maintain glory be to God for all things. Update. I will delete my comments containing profanity, blasphemy, histrionic emotionalism, and bad arguments. To the armchair detectives who keep tagging the police, they already know everything I wrote here. That's why I went public in the first place, Sherlock. Wow, bro. You really need help. That is unhinged right there. I don't even know what to do with it.
Hello. God bless. Thank you all. Glory to God.
This is a long video, so we can't watch the whole thing. Just watch for a second. This is the dude.
But this is Damascene, or Joshua, or Josh, or call me whatever name you'd like. I've been called quite the slew of colorful names this week. I have received in the last couple days, but especially in the last 24 hours,
You know what? I think I'd rather call him un-American.
countless messages, comments, prayers, words of support, words of encouragement, and I'm extremely grateful for all of it, more than I can say. My post, my confession about revealing myself as the Satan Smasher. It had been shared about 60 or 70 times, but then orthochristian.com wrote an article about it, and now it's been seen by many thousands of people. I can't possibly respond to all of the messages I've received, so I want.
Again, this dude is not the only one that destroyed it. It was destroyed multiple times, and he said someone else did it before me or after me or whatever. That's crazy, dude. How many people are out there willing to like break the law by damaging private property or personal property, whatever? Anyway, Jesus, dude. He really, really needs help. I may watch this whole thing, actually. Let's finish the article and then we'll watch more of it. Hemet Meta says, sounds to me like he's openly admitting to a religiously motivated hate crime. Yeah, absolutely. To be clear, the Satanic Temple doesn't worship Satan. When Cummings makes a direct connection between the two, he's just revealing his utter ignorance. Furthermore, the idea that destroying others' property because you personally find it blasphemous would create chaos if it was accepted as justification for a crime. Just because he doesn't like the statue does not give him the right to vandalize it. Obviously, that's never an acceptable alibi. The fact that he considers his crime one of the greatest things he's ever done says more about his faith than the people he wants to hurt. On New Year's Eve, he posted this video that we were watching a second ago. We'll probably watch more of it. He says, in the video, apparently, he says, if we're going to lay down and just take that, they show back up next year with a beautiful marble statue of Satan. We can't let it happen. There has to be, if all of these false spiritual presences, these demonic things are about to crop up, it's time for Christians to really get serious. This is Hemet Meta again. He also said he was appalled by Christians who were standing up for the Satanist First Amendment rights, and that he doesn't harbor the same hatred toward other religions, because at least they're religions and have ancient precedent. Holy Christ, dude. He hoped that if it ends up in court, his trial will be televised because he wants to eviscerate the Satanic Temple. Wishful thinking. It will not be televised because it was just petty vandalism by a religious zealot. Real life isn't an episode of Law and Order, and this guy just has main character syndrome. This is a link. Oh, interesting. The final seconds of the video show footage of the statue being destroyed, taken by a supporter of the Satanic Temple. Cummings didn't say it's him in the video, but he prefaces it by saying he wanted to end his video on a light note. It's a TikTok video, huh? Okay, I don't want... Yeah, it's got music. I'm just going to cut the music out. That's him destroying it, seems like, yep. Wow. One final point. He insists the police are on my side, quote unquote, in part because Concord Mayor Byron Champlin told the media he wouldn't have approved the Satanic Temple's request in the first place, preferring instead to deny the permit and accept the risk of the threatened lawsuit. This is a perfect example of why elected officials, regardless of their personal beliefs, must openly defend the First Amendment and religious freedom for all, even if that means defending a group that may be unpopular. When conservative politicians say certain groups are not welcome in the community despite the law saying otherwise, it allows religious zealots like him to think their actions will be forgiven. Cummings did not respond to my request for comment. Oh, that's sad. Yeah, I haven't met to reaches out to these people. It's so fascinating sometimes. For what it's worth, his confession is no different from what another Christian zealot said last year after he destroyed a Baphomet statue inside the Iowa State Capitol. That's the video we saw at the very beginning, I believe. This one here.
One, I hope people realize spiritual warfare is real, that there are evil, satanic forces that are trying to infiltrate our state.
God, dude, this is on Inside Edition, too. Oh, my God. Michael Cassidy, yeah, that's who it was. The lawyer for Michael Cassidy, a former Republican candidate for Congress, said his client vandalized the statue because he was motivated by his Christian faith to peacefully protest a display. Peacefully? Peacefully. You're literally destroying property. That's not peaceful. Peacefully protest a display that is a direct affront to God. Cassidy later accepted a plea deal to avoid more serious charges and possible jail time. This is Josh Shriver, a representative. I think he's still a representative, talking about the statue from last year, from 2023.
Share with you disturbing thing that's going on the Capitol lawn. You essentially have a statue of Satan who lies, steals, kills, and destroys, authorized to appear on the Capitol steps during this Christmas season, with a disclaimer from.
Oh, this might be a different. Statue.
The Capitol itself, right next to the Nativity.
Yeah, that's the First Amendment. That's how it works.
Celebrate.
I believe he's a representative. He took an oath to uphold the Constitution, right? If you can't uphold the Constitution, you have no business being a representative in the first place. Yeah, this is Hemant Mehta again. The confession also brings to mind Michael Tate Reed, who in 2017 drove his car into a Ten Commandments monument outside the Arkansas state capitol because he felt it didn't belong there, quote unquote. He did the same thing to an identical monument in Oklahoma in 2014, though at the time, he said he was listening to the voice of Satan. Wow. Okay. That guy very clearly has problems. Reed was acquitted after, this is the dude that drove his car through the Ten Commandments. Reed was acquitted after doctors said he was mentally unfit to stand trial. As one report put it, Reed reported he first began communicating with God when he was 16 years old, but doctors couldn't tell if those were hallucinations or just an expression of his Christian faith. This is what I'm talking about. Either way, both times he's acting on his religious delusions. This is what I am talking about right here. It's indistinguishable from mental illness. Like how deep these people have gone into this rabbit hole, this extreme nutcase rabbit hole. Indistinguishable. As far as Cummings' confession goes, Minister Orpheus Gar, the co-director of the Satanic Representation Campaign, told me the Satanic Temple is unable to verify this confession or which incidents of vandalism they perpetrated. That's because there were so many incidents of vandalism by the time the display was taken down that it's hard to imagine Cummings was the only person trying to destroy it. In total, we documented 12 incidents of vandalism by at least 4 individuals, which were either reported by the Satanic Temple's SRC and local contacts to the Concord Police Department or shared with SRC by the police when they responded on the scene. These acts of destruction affected not only the original display, but also 2 backup installations created by a local artist collective. Wow, man. Absolutely nuts. Now, listen to a little bit more of Josh's confession or whatever here.
Point in the week, and I'm hopefully going to get there tomorrow, which I'll find out how to proceed. My interactions with the police have been very cordial. I think they're on my side. The mayor of the city was very unhappy the statue was put up in the first place. So if I do face any kind of lawfare, it'll come from the Satanic Temple. I'm sure they're going to throw everything they've got at me.
Lawfare, he says. Lawfare. This is a word popularized lately by Donald Trump, as far as I can tell. I don't remember hearing that word until Mike Lindell started throwing it around and Trump and stuff.
If I do face any kind of lawfare, it'll come from the Satanic Temple. I'm sure they're going to throw everything they've got at me, but I want to use this video also to dispel some myths, and I think it'll lay bare the fact that they don't really have much of a case against me.
No, they definitely, for sure do. You're violating their constitutional right to freedom of speech. They definitely have a case against you. But you know what? Here's the problem. this stuff isn't being enforced. What happens when the police just don't care? What happens when nobody will pick up the case, when no lawyers will work with you or whatever else? I mean, that's not the case at this immediate moment, but what happens? What happens when it goes all the way to the Supreme Court and the Supreme Court rules against the Satanic Temple? What then?
The cost of the statue, which is not a statue, but just a cheap mannequin with some robes thrown over it and a Halloween mask. So, what's that? 30, 40, 50 bucks. Whatever.
Okay, I don't think it was 30 or 40 or 50, but whatever. Fine.
And ultimately, they can do whatever they want. They can find me.
No, really? They can? Thank you. Tell me what they can do.
They can do whatever they want. They can find me into poverty. They could put me in jail. I don't care. I live alone. Besides my
Dude, this is like a manifesto.
cat over here. All I've got is some guitars, and you can take everything from me. I don't care about any of it. I've been poor before. It's not.
This is what I'm talking about. Like, is it mental illness? Is it actual delusion? Or is it just a deeply held faith? They're indistinguishable from each other.
So bad. So really, I want to explain not so much why I did what I did, but why I decided to go public with it. Because, to be honest, I didn't really even understand at first why I did. But I've been thinking about it all week, and it was Monday or Tuesday of a couple weeks ago. I was at work, and I had some downtime. I was glancing at my phone, and I saw like a poster, an article about how the Satanic Temple had decided to put up that statue. And without even thinking, I was just like, I work nights. I'm clocking out at 1 a.m. and under
Dude, I wonder what he does.
cover of darkness, I'm going to go smash down that statue. And that's exactly what I did. I didn't think of the consequences at all. I just did it. And
Okay.
it was this kind of the same thing with deciding to reveal my identity.
Kind of a spur of the moment type of deal, huh? Why did he even do that? I don't understand why he revealed his identity. Doesn't it seem more logical to just keep it zipped?
After the cops knew my story, I told them everything, so I just decided I would go public. And at the time, I didn't really understand why I was doing it. I knew it would get some attention. I knew it was going to go at least a little bit viral.
He's obsessed with things going viral. This is really sad. And honestly, he's probably not going to face any consequences anyway. Not serious ones. It was a vandalism charge. I'd be surprised if he serves any time. This is probably a misdemeanor, right? I would imagine. Just destroying a statue or whatever. I don't know. Maybe it's based on what the statue was worth. And I don't think this one was worth much. If that's what it is based on, it's probably a misdemeanor.
But I didn't know why I decided to do it. Because a lot of the initial criticism was like, oh, this is just some guy who wants fame and attention and stuff. And I mean, I'm a sinner. There's certainly probably some part of me that does want that. But ultimately, it's like,
Jesus Christ, dude, get help.
well, in some of the articles that came out in the beginnings of this whole ordeal, before I made my splash on the scene, in the comments on the articles were a lot of people who were surprised that someone would want to knock over a statue of Satan. They were like bewildered and offended by it. And
Okay, I'm not offended by it. I think you're just a shithead. That's all. If you don't want to be viewed as a shithead, then don't do things like that. Of course, he doesn't care.
even Christians were defending the presence of the statue on the basis
Yeah, because it's a First Amendment right.
of the First Amendment, right? Religious freedom of religion, which for a
No, it's more complicated than that, but okay.
Christian to think that our Lord Jesus Christ would be okay with a statue of the enemy of God, the enemy of mankind, the enemy of all reality, right front and center in the middle of the capital city of a state, that is just unbelievable. It's just bonkers. We have countless saints who destroyed idolatrous, never mind a statue of Satan, simply a statue to a false god. A Christian
This is making it pretty clear that he wants a Christian state, right?
would destroy, knowing he would be tortured to death. And that's how a lot of martyrs were made.
And this guy wants to be a martyr, I guess.
So I'm not going to face torture. I'm not going to be killed. I might get a little fine. I might have to serve a little bit of jail time.
Yeah, probably so. I would be surprised if he serves jail time.
So don't think of me a hero.
I don't.
It's impossible that I wouldn't do this. I wouldn't be able to sleep at night knowing that a mile down the road there's a Satan statue in front of the Capitol. It's just ridiculous.
This is what extreme religion does to your brain right here. It eats it away like it's syphilis or something. Let me rephrase. This is what extreme anything does to your brain. It eats it away like syphilis, not just religion, but, far-right ideology or whatever. You go too far in a direction and you completely lose yourself. You're gone.
Satanic Temple and the people who say that there's some kind of religious freedom, claim to religious freedom for that statue to be there. The Satanic Temple is not a religion. They don't make religious claims. Their tenets are not spiritual.
Yes, they are. So what he's telling me is he would be okay with like a theistic Satanist group putting that stuff up. They're out there, not very many of them, but there's some theistic Satanist groups that believe that Satan was a real, literal person or figure or whatever, and they worship him and pray to him and everything. Joy of Satan is an example. It's an insane, out of this world nutcase group, and it's made up of like 50 people or something. It's almost nobody. But they're out there. I mean, there's a group for everything. There's probably a group for canned tuna enthusiasts. Like, who knows? You'd be okay with the Joy of Satan putting something up like that? Is what you're saying?
They make moral claims. It's moralism. It's the kind of morals that any stoned hippie sitting next to a lava lamp could come up with.
Yeah, I mean, isn't that what religion is supposed to be about? Like moral/philosophical whatever. I mean, it's not, but that's what it purports to be, right?
Christianity is making profound, ancient, eternal claims that are spiritual, that transcend all morality simply as a side effect.
As a side effect, okay.
It is in a complete different universe than the Satanic Temple.
Then why do you care?
The Satanic Temple exists to mock Christianity.
No, the Satanic Temple specifically exists to maintain religious rights. If there's nobody challenging these things, if there's nobody challenging one religion's rights to do whatever at the expense of everybody else, then they just take over and do whatever they want. That religion does. The Satanic Temple exists to prevent any one religion from trampling all over everyone else's rights.
Doesn't mock Islam or Judaism or Buddhism or Hinduism. And I might think that those are false religions, but I'll at least grant they're religions.
Okay, what about Joy of Satan? Again, a theistic Satanist group. What about them? Again, they're like borderline neo-Nazis, I think. It's been forever since I read about it. Let me see if I can find something about it. Hold on. Yeah, Joy of Satan Ministries. They have a website, and it's like really bad, I remember. Is this it? Yes, this is it. The Assembly of the Gods. Joy of Satan. It's really stupid. Yeah, here you go. Joy of Satan Ministries, also referred to as Joy of Satan, JOS, is a Western esoteric occult organization founded in 2002 by Andrea Harrington, a.k.a. Maxine Dietrich. Joy of Satan Ministries advocates spiritual Satanism, an ideology that presents a synthesis of theistic Satanism, Nazism, Gnosticism, paganism, Western esotericism, UFO conspiracy theories, and extraterrestrial beliefs similar to those popularized by Zechariah Sitchin and David Icke. I don't know Sitchin. Author a number of books proposing an explanation for human origins involving ancient astronauts. Okay, wow. Anyway, yeah, that's the Joy of Satan. They got problems. That group does.
Ancient precedent. No, the Satanic Temple is a joke.
You're a joke.
And as much as I would like to just avoid lawfare, if I have to go to court, my only hope is that my defense is televised, because I'm going to eviscerate the Satanic Temple.
Brother, it's a vandalism charge, okay? How deep in this hole are you?
Even if I were to grant that the First Amendment, that the Constitution somehow protects the statue.
Well, I don't give a shit if you grant it. That's the fact of the situation. The First Amendment very clearly protects freedom of speech. This has been affirmed by the Supreme Court a billion times over. It's pretty explicit. So I don't need your affirmation. Thank you.
Even if I were to grant that the First Amendment, that the Constitution somehow protects the statue being in front of the State House, we as Christians are, of course, commanded to obey the laws of men. But there's a caveat, which is that we do not obey when the state commands that we do something God forbids, or when it forbids that we do something God commands.
Okay, that's interesting. When it forbids we do something that God commands, does God command people to tear down statues? I'm trying to think. I mean, maybe. As far as I can remember, it just says, like, there shall be no false idols, basically. Like, you won't worship other gods, right? You won't worship other gods. But he's not. Yeah, you aren't, like, worshiping another god. And in fact, nobody's worshiping another god, for that matter. Didn't he say it's not a religion? So why do you even care?
So there's just no way that we could allow a statue of a monument to evil to exist in the representative building of the people.
Again, I've never heard of that idea that they should disobey the government if it orders them not to do something that was commanded. I've never heard that before. I mean, I know that Jesus basically said live by the laws of the land effectively, and that the leaders are there because God put them there for better or worse. Like, for example, Hitler was in that place because, that stuff needed to happen or whatever. I think that's generally the belief by a lot of like right-wing, evangelical nutcases. If the government tells you not to gather, to go to church, then I guess maybe that's something you could work on. But a statue? Where does it tell you to tear down a statue?
People, you don't even have to be a Christian to understand that. Everybody knows that Satan is a symbol of evil. And
well, I mean, to you, but to the Satanic Temple, Satan is a symbol of asking questions, fighting against rebelling against authoritarian systems, and of telling the truth when everybody else, namely God, is lying. I think that's what it is. They're not worshiping a symbol of evil. They're worshiping somebody that, well, they're not even worshiping, but they revere a literary character that is not for any evil that he does or whatever, just for the fact that it fights authoritarianism.
with the Satanic Temple, they dance around. They're like, oh, well, we don't really believe in Satan. We're not.
They're not dancing around it. They just don't believe in Satan.
And with the Satanic Temple, they dance around. They're like, oh, well, we don't really believe in Satan. We're non-theistic. They say all of this nonsense. It doesn't matter what they say. Satan is who he is. And at the very least, he's a symbol of evil. But ultimately, we are all captive to spirits. That's just how the world works.
Just try to frame this up in another way. Try to put this guy somehow like on your side, if you will, and just think about whether we should accept this kind of behavior. Imagine that if this guy was tearing down churches or something, destroying like religious symbols or something, and saying that he has a religious mandate to destroy it. Satan demanded that he destroy these things or whatever. Well, of course, we would never accept that. That's insane. Especially when he starts saying that there should be laws against like blasphemy laws and things. Like what?
Regardless of what the Satanic Temple says, look at their actions and then infer the cause. Also,
Well, that's an interesting thing to have said. What was that one more time?
captive to spirits. That's just how the world works. So regardless of what the Satanic Temple says, look at their actions and then infer the cause.
Look at their actions, infer the cause. Look at their actions, infer the cause. Interesting. Okay. I will keep that in mind when analyzing what Republican congressmen are doing.
Also, the idea that the founding fathers, when they were drafting the Constitution, would have been fine with the Satanic Temple, with the Satanic statue in front of the State House, that is nonsense. Nobody believes that.
It is explicitly in the document. This was adjudicated in the early 1800s. It is well understood. There is no room for wiggling out of it or misunderstanding or whatever. You're simply incorrect here.
You say you believe that? I don't believe you believe that. Maybe you've convinced yourself. Maybe you've repeated the lie so many times that you believe it. The old
Oh, so you do think that they believe it?
Saul Alinsky tactic. But these are the sorts of arguments that are being made, and they're all idiotic or just deceitful. Satan has classically been called the father of lies for centuries. So
Yeah, this guy is like on another planet. He really needs help. This is like a manifesto, full-blown manifesto.
prize is there.
Just like
Why did
long periods of silence. What the hell?
why did I knock over the statue? Why did I go public? Why did I make it into?
Because you're a douchebag, and on top of that, because you're a fool.
Why did I put it in everyone's face? I could have not knocked over the statue and just gone about my life.
Or just not said anything. It's because you wanted attention, very clearly.
I could have knocked over the statue and just been quiet about it and disappeared. Why did I have to stand up and make everybody deal with it?
For attention, of course. And everybody was already dealing with the fact that he destroyed the statue. They didn't need him to stand up for that. He's just screwing himself over.
It's because we are entering back into a religious world, whether we like it or not.
I don't know what that means.
Atheism is dead. Their stupid arguments have been completely destroyed.
That's simply incorrect, good sir. I disagree.
And I'm worried. I'm worried for people. I'm worried.
Don't worry about me, thank you. Worry about yourself. I'll worry about me.
For my neighbors. I love this city. I grew up one town away, and this is my city. This is the city I've
Which city was it? I forget now.
always been near to, and now I actually live here. I destroyed that statue because
Right, it's New Hampshire. That's what it is. I think Concord, New Hampshire, right? Something.
I destroyed that statue because I love the people in this city, and I don't want them to be harmed spiritually by what that statue does by being there. Excuse my cat. He's doing some
I will not excuse your cat.
gymnastics.
Well, put him on screen. Let's see him. You gonna get the cat? Look at the cross in the background, dude. This guy has a cross. I love what looks like a big wooden one or something on his bookshelf, or a metal one. Jesus, dude.
I really do believe that America will be an Orthodox nation one day. Saint Paisios, who was...
If you don't know the timeline, Orthodox means correct, basically. And that was like one of the earliest denominations of Christianity, what we recognize as Christianity today. And eventually there's an event called the Catholicost. Catholic means universal. Catholicism took over Christianity universally, basically, in the Catholicost. And I believe Eastern Orthodoxy split from Catholicism at that point. Well, Orthodoxy split in two, Eastern Orthodox and Catholic. And then from Eastern Orthodox, you get like Russian Orthodox and a bunch of others. Here you go. Yeah, here's a good one. So the undivided church starts in between 33 when Jesus died to 1054. Roman Catholic Church splits from the Orthodox Church. And if you notice here, people are trying to stand up for the Orthodox Church, saying that it's correct. Anyway, the Orthodox Church and the Roman Catholic Church split off. And then the Anglican Church splits from the Catholic Church in the 1700s, somewhere in that vicinity, I think. Protestantism split in 1517. Now, Anglican Church must have been around 1530 then. Anyway, that's the general timeline. So I guess he's part of the Orthodox Church.
An amazing saint, a modern prophet. He said himself that one day America will be holy. I believe that's true, but I believe that I'm going to be long dead before it happens. And I think that there's going to be incredible trials that come before then. And I think the fact that we've come this far, that that statue was allowed to be in front of the State House, shows that we're down in a hole right now, and things.
This has always been the case. We've always had the right to do that, as outlined in the Constitution, and people have pretty much always done it.
I had to destroy that statue because if I don't, if we're going to lay down and just take that, like what do they show back up next year with a beautiful marble statue of Satan?
Well, they will anyway.
We can't let it happen. There has to be, if all of these false spiritual presences, these demonic things are about to crop up, it's time for Christians to really get serious.
And I guess getting serious means getting violent.
So I don't want to be all doom and gloom. Ultimately, I want to say thank you because the messages I've received, there was a woman who, went to see the nativity display with her daughter, and her daughter began to cry when she saw the Satan statue.
Why? Why would she cry? You know why? I'll tell you why. Because she has been so indoctrinated, so propagandized to her entire life that she's afraid to even think that this exists. It's like my parents telling me that there were, in fact, monsters in my bedroom, but they're demons. But if I say God's name over and over again, I'll be protected from it. That's on my parents, okay? This is on this girl's parent for brainwashing her and freaking her out over stupid.
And she felt powerless to do anything about that. She's like, I guess this is just the way things are now. And she thanked me because something had to be done. So I'm grateful for all of the support, and I'm grateful that God gave me He just put me in the right place at the right time, I guess.
You know, I don't want statues of Robert E. Lee up at all, anywhere. They should be torn down. But even if this guy had done that, I'd pretty clearly and easily be able to see how completely out of his head he was, right?
For all of the support, and I'm grateful that God gave me He just put me in the right place at the right time, I guess.
God put me in the right place at the right time to destroy this statue. I mean, really think about that.
So, to end this video on a light note, I've got a nice little treat for you guys. There is actually one security tape of the statue being smashed.
Yeah, and that's what we saw earlier. I'm assuming it's him.
I have that, and I'll play that now. May the great blessings of our God.
How did he get his hands on this security footage? Yeah, we already saw it again. I don't want to turn the volume down because of the song. Anyway, absolutely nuts. This guy really needs help, like, honestly. Now, before I end the segment, I just kind of want to scroll through the Joy of Satan website because it's kind of interesting. Again, theistic Satanists, complete nutcases. They believe in UFOs. They're neo-Nazis by and large, things like that. Spiritual Satanism. Wow, this website looks like it's from 2003. I used to have things like this on my website that I had on GeoCities. Spiritual Satanism differs from LaVeyan Satanism, who are aware of the existence of Satan / Lucifer. LaVeyan Satanism is also like the Satanic Temple. They just believe in the literary character versus the actual real being, Satan. We're not atheists. In spite of major discrepancies, the Church of Satan, founded in 1966 by Anton LaVey, that was LaVeyan Satanism, presently takes an atheistic stance as far as external deities are concerned and views Satan as only an archetype. In light of new knowledge based upon hundreds of hours of intense and in-depth research, we have discovered the following. 1. Satan is our true creator God. Okay. YHVH, otherwise known as Jehovah by the deluded, is a false entity. Jehovah is not God's name, by the way. It was Yahweh, but okay, whatever. YHVH stands for the 4 elements and the corners in the popular Jewish systems of magic that are available to the public. Brother, what? Get help, people. I am begging you. The character Jesus Christ is fictitious and was stolen from some 18-plus pagan legends of a god hanging from a tree, such as Odin. 18-plus pagan legends, huh? Like, we're talking NSFW pagan legends? Then being resurrected, and is another description of the alchemical operation of transforming the soul, death, and then resurrection. My God. Really, like, these people are just, they're gone. There are some real weirdos out there. True Satanism preceded Christianity by thousands of years. No. And is based on the total transformation of the soul. No, it did. Satanism did not predate Christianity. Judaism does not have a Satan. To have like an adversary, if you will, like somebody that's asking God a question in Job. That's the first appearance of any kind of Satan at all. And it wasn't Satan in Job. It was just another angel that was asking God, hey, you think that Job would like continue worshiping you if like you took all of his shit and killed his family? And God says, I think so, probably. Let's give it a shot. And then they did it. And sure enough, Job did it. You know, he continued worshiping. And Satan says, you were right. How about that? Now we know. Knowing is half the battle, as G.I. Joe says. Anyway, Satan is a creation, a later creation, very clearly. There's like no question about that. 18 plus feels weirdly specific, right? Anyway, yeah, tell me what you think about it in the comments. Absolutely wild, man. Exposing Christianity. I got to do a full breakdown of this website one of these days. Oh my God, look, they have a video. Oh no, what is this video? I can't get sucked into I can't get sucked into something else, can I? Not right now. The Rav late. Okay, I can't. You want to see this? Stick around. I'll probably cover it in another video.